Hello, hi friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name is Ashley and oh my goodness, do I have something super easy and fun for us to work on today. First, we are going to take some clear acrylic rounds. They don't look clear because they still have the masking tape, but we are going to take some clear acrylic rounds. First and foremost, you can get this over at my cardstock warehouse, and then you are going to need some vinyl for this. And the finished product, what we're going to end up making is newborn announcement photo picture discs. These things are so stinking popular all over Etsy. Everyone is using them and I'm going to show you how to make them, and it's going to be very easy and you can use them time and time again. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Okay, so for this project, I highly suggest that you have your acrylic rounds on hand because sizing this is going to be super important. So what you want to do is come over here into shapes, and we just want to insert a circle. If you have like hexagon acrylic shapes, put a hexagon in there. Then what you want to do is, I have two sizes. One's going to have like introducing with a name, birth weight, and time and stuff like that. And then these ones are going to have 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, etc. So I'm going to need two different sized circles. So for this one, I'm going to take the measurement of my smallest circle. This one's going to be 3.75. So coming up here, I'm going to make sure that this right here is locked, and I'm going to do 3.75 and press enter. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just copy and paste that circle, and I'm going to take a measurement of my largest circle. My largest circle is going to be 5 inches. So I'm going to resize this to 5 inches and press return. Okay, now what I'm going to do is selecting both of these because I'm not actually going to end up needing these circles in the end. I'm going to select both of these, go into operation, and I'm going to change these over to a guide. So everything on the inside of both of these circles is what is going to fit onto my acrylic discs. Okay, so let's start off with the smaller circle because we have a lot of them and it's going to take us the longest. The next thing we want to do is insert a text box. So I'm going to come over here to text box. Okay, so for my smaller discs, I am going to make 12 different lettering. 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, etc. until we get to 12. So what I'm going to do is for the very first one, I'm going to do 1 month. Okay, now I'm just going to click out of that and drag this over because I want it to fit inside that circle. Then you want to come up here into fonts, and this is where you're going to be able to choose your fonts. So you can move this box around if it cuts off into your circle. Now you could use regular Cricut fonts if you wanted to, or you can come over here into system and you could use a downloaded font that you found somewhere on the internet. Okay, I absolutely love this font right here. It is one of my most favorite fonts ever. So this is going to be a downloaded font. Once I have that clicked, I'm going to click out of that. And I've decided that instead of the O and the M being capitalized, I am just going to go like this where it says 1 month, where the M is lowercase. Okay, I definitely don't like the spacing of both of these lines. So I'm going to come up here into advanced and I'm going to ungroup lines. And I'm going to drag my month just up a little bit, shift on my keyboard and also that one. And now I'm going to resize both of them so they fit inside my circle here. I think that's absolutely darling. Okay, so now that I have this one spaced exactly the way that I want to, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select both of these pieces and I'm going to copy and paste. This right here, I'm just going to drag down here. Now I like the way that this looks. So what I'm going to do, making sure that this is spelt correctly, is I'm going to come down here to combined and then weld. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back up into this original circle, double click 1, and now we'll do 2. But this is because now that there's multiple, I'm going to need to change months. So I'm going to double click on that and change that with an S. Now doing the same thing we did before with our 1 month is I'm going to select both of these. I'm going to make sure that it fits inside my circle. Okay, when I have it's spaced the way that I want it, what I'm going to do is copy and paste, and then I am going to come down here to combine and then weld. Going back up into the smaller circle, now let's do double click 2 and we'll do 3. And we want to re-space this out. Everything looks good, so copy and paste and drag this down here, combine and then weld. Okay, you want to keep doing these steps until you get all the discs that you need. Okay, when you get to the very last one, here is the deal. If you wanted to save this project for later to be editable later, you do not want to weld the very last one. What you want to do is the same thing you did before, copy and paste, and weld this one together, leaving this one right here in the raw form. That way, when we save this and open this up later, you can go straight back into editing and not have to worry about trying to figure out what font that you used, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so I personally am going to save this for later use. So what I'm going to do is selecting the circle and the lettering. I am going to right click and press group. Then I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to hide it, just pretending like it doesn't even exist there. Okay, so for the larger one, what I'm going to put in here is I'm here. I just want to announce that we have a newborn, which is why we don't have a newborn smaller circle. So doing the same thing that I did before, I'm going to come over here into text and I'm going to do I'm return here. However, this time I'm going to change this font into like a bolder font. So clicking back up here into font, I'm going to move this over and I am going to choose a bolder font. Okay, when I've picked the font that I like, I am just going to click out of that. And then I am going to resize this just like we did before into our larger circle. Now I don't like the lines here, so either you could do one of two ways. You can reduce the line space here and that just brings them up, or you can do what I did, which we can go into advanced and ungroup lines, and we can just make this tighter so we can make this larger. Once you have it spaced the way you want to, the same thing is we are going to copy and paste, and we are going to come down here to combine and then weld. And same thing we did before. If you wanted to save this file to be editable later, all you need to do is selecting that larger circle. We are going to right click and press group. Then we're going to come up here and we are going to hide this. Now at this point, what you want to do is come up here and to save, and we want to save our work. Okay, now that it's saved, if you wanted to, you could definitely change the colors of these to fit your needs better. I am just going to be using black for this project, so I'm just going to keep it all one color and then press make. Okay, and the size that I have made all of my lettering, it looks like I'm only going to need one 12-inch piece of black vinyl. Now let's go over to the Cricuts and we can cut this all out. Okay, so I'm going to be using the black Tech Wrap vinyl. This one is called Ink Black. Most Tech Wrap vinyl comes with this protective layer. You want to take it off before you cut your vinyl. For sticky vinyl, which is what I'm using today, you always want to put this side down. So the white side you want to face down. What I'm going to do is put this down first onto my mat. I'm going to cut the excess of my roll off once I got my 12 inches put on my mat, using my brayer because I'm using a mat that's been used a lot, so making sure it's nice and stuck on there. Okay, now that I have it on my mat, what I'm going to do is take my weeding pick and I'm just going to weed off the protective layer. So this milky thing, we want to take that off. Okay, now what we want to do is insert this into our Cricut. And for this particular project, I am going to choose the Vinyl Plus mode on my Cricut Explorer Air 2. Coming back over into Cricut Design Space, you just want to press continue, making sure that we have the correct setting selected. I'm going to cut on fast cut mode because I don't like when my machine cuts slow, and then just press that blinking C button. Okay, whenever you're working with vinyl, you always want to make sure that it cut perfectly. So what I like to do is just take the corner before you eject your mat. You want to check to make sure that it weeded out good or that it cut really good. My settings were perfect. I'm not going to lay this down. What I'm going to do is just move this, cut the excess off. Okay, and then I'm going to eject. However, if you cut this out and the very first time this is not weeding good, what you want to do is press that C button before ejecting your mat. What then the Cricut will do is suck the mat back in and recut your entire thing, and you won't have any alignment issues. But since this cut perfectly, I'm just going to eject. And now we can put away our Cricuts. Okay, I know a lot of people that like to weed their entire thing right onto their mat. However, I am not someone that loves to weed vinyl because I feel like it gets stuck together and then it ruins your entire cutout. So what I always like to do is taking my material, and since I have all these individual pieces of stickers, what I'm going to do is now cut out every single individual sticker. So this right here only says 2 months. Okay, now that I have all of my stickers all individually cut out, now what I'm going to do is start weeding. Weeding is just taking away what you don't want. So I want to be left with all the lettering that I need. The reason why I like doing it like this, where it's individually cut out, is let's say that I accidentally screw up and not weed out what I'm supposed to. Then all I have to do is recut this one word or sticker versus cutting out the entire sheet again, wasting material. Now that your vinyl pieces are cut, the beauty of cutting out all of your decals into smaller pieces is that you're not going to have to use so much transfer tape. Transfer tape is not a one-time use supply. So let's take the biggest sticker out of all of them, which is obviously going to be that I'm here. I'm going to take my transfer tape and I am going to cut out a piece of transfer tape that's large enough to fit the entire sticker of I'm here. Okay, so taking the largest circular blank that we have, I'm going to take off the masking tape off the front of my disc. You don't want to put your hands onto your disc because otherwise that'll start picking up your fingerprints. So you want to make sure that we really don't manhandle the front of this. Then what you want to do is take the backing off of your transfer tape. So this is going to be clear. And you're going to put your transfer tape over the top of your decal. Okay, we are going to take a brayer. If you don't have something that looks like this, a credit card will do. You don't have to go out and buy a fancy supply. You just want to press hard on your decal, and then you want to pick this up and take the white paper backing off of your sticky vinyl. When you take the backing off your vinyl, try not to touch the backing of the vinyl with your fingers. You have skin oils and skin cells that get left onto the back of your vinyl, making them not as sticky. So you want to make sure that you definitely don't touch this too much, or even the front of your disc. Then what you want to do is lay your decal on top of your clear disc. When you have that done, you're just going to take your hard edge and we are going to rub this down. Okay, then all you want to do is pull up on your transfer tape. If you pressed hard enough, you shouldn't need to re-press this down, but you just want to take your transfer tape and roll it away, keeping your vinyl decal on your disc. Because this is still sticky, remember this is not a one-time use supply. I'm going to take my next decal using the same piece of transfer tape, and we are going to lay this down doing the same steps that we did before. We are going to take the hard edge, rub it down. Taking one acrylic blank, we are going to take the masking tape off of our blank, not touching the front of our disc. Lay that down. Take the backing of your decal off of the transfer. Don't touch the back of your vinyl decal. We're going to lay this onto our circle. Taking the hard edge, rubbing out hard, and then taking the transfer tape off, leaving your decal onto your blank. Okay, you want to do the same steps that we've done for these two. That being said, keep using your transfer tape until it's not sticky. Chances are one piece of transfer tape will work for this entire decal set. Okay, all of my rounds are done, and I just would like to note that this one piece of transfer tape right here did all of my rounds, and it's also still very sticky, so I could keep using this over and over and over again. So if you wanted to, you could definitely be done. This is what your finished discs would look like. There is a clear circle behind there. However, I am going to take it one step further, and I'm going to be using some acrylic paint and then just a feather brush, and I'm going to do a down the back of all of my circle rounds. So I'm just going to put a little bit of paint on my parchment paper. I am going to turn this around, and I'm just going to dip my paintbrush. You don't want a whole lot of paint, and we're going to swoop it. Okay, and then this is what it's going to look like. You'll be able to see those brush strokes through your clear disc, but isn't this so stinking cute? So we are going to let this dry with the vinyl facing down. So as you do this, we're going to take one, taking off the masking tape off the back. Try not to touch the acrylic disc with your fingers on the face of it. And then you just want to wipe some paint over the back. Keep doing that until your project is all painted. Now, there are people that do flowers or resin, like glitter. The options are truly endless with this type of project. You can do so many different color combinations, different vinyl. Seriously, the possibilities are so endless when it comes to this project. When all your paint is finally dry, the project is finished, and I absolutely love the way all of this turned out. I love using Tech Wrap vinyl because it is bubble free, so there's not going to be any bubbles in my vinyl. But then look at how stinking cute this is with that gold paint on the back. The neat thing about this project is even if you didn't want to use black vinyl or gold paint, you could totally customize this to any way that you want, which is just the beauty of being a crafter, because if you don't like this and you wanted it a different color, you can totally do that with no issues at all. I sure hope I inspired you to make, y'all, and I'll see you next time.